So thank you very much all for coming. We are starting usually our events a little bit late because it takes time for everyone to settle in and come to check in. So today we'll have Ideathon, the x402 payment required Ideathon. So it's one of a series of events. We already had a call before, and we'll have several other ones ahead of finalizing kind of a bigger hackathon next month. So I'll just explain the organizational side of things. So first of all, today for the event, please don't forget to register on Luma so we know that you were here. Just requires you to answer a couple of questions. Please register and then ask us to check you in if you're not checked in. So please approach me. And also do please join our Telegram group. We need that for two reasons, because all the conversations during the event today will be happening there. So all the information you can get there. And also you'll be informed about our future events and what will happen next, and all the community will be here also. So please, when you register to Luma, also do approach me so I can check you in. So that would be start of organizational things. Then we need internet. So we have Wi-Fi there. So this is the password for the Wi-Fi. Please use it. And also we have submissions. So submissions, today's event will happen basically like this. We'll have around 40 minutes of very short talks explaining first the event, then what is x402, and kind of go into some of these concepts, then how to build that in Algorand and what kind of support you can also get. And then you have around 1.5 hours to ideate and think through your ideas. Maybe I saw some people already kind of started doing that. And we'll have mentors. We'll have several mentors both here and also online for you to talk to. I'll introduce in a bit. And we would ask you all to submit a pitch deck. That's the only thing we ask you to do today, is to submit the pitch deck and pitch here. So the pitch deck, please submit it on Door Hacks. So that's the link. That ugly big thing is the link, or you could just scan it here. They'll require you a password, so please do that. So we don't have, and all that information will be in the group also. So how the event will go? So then we have around 1.5 to 1 hour for the pitches. So they'll be very short. It will be just 3 minutes for the pitch plus 1 minute of Q&A. So it'll be very, very short. You'll come here. You have to put an icon. You can show your slides, and you can stay here and present the pitch. We have maybe potentially, depending on how many people turn up, we potentially have some limited amount of spots to the timing. So please do sign up. We have a form somewhere here where you can put the name of your group if you would like to pitch. Just put your name and potentially the members. If you eventually don't want to pitch, or you can just we will skip you, or if you later want to, we'll add you to the list. So that's kind of, I think, the short overview about today's event. But today, maybe actually we'll go into some other things. This is the Door Hacks page. So this is where the submissions are. Today we'll have, so it will be a competition. So we have, it's actually a little bit more than 1,000. It's $1,250 of prizes. Out of them, 1,000 is in cash. And it will be awarded. Here, we can check this out. Oh, actually. So that will be the prizes. So the best pitch gets $500 cash plus $250 in AI credits from Go Plausible. Go Plausible is actually one of the company who actually made the x402 implementation for Algorand, and their founder will be also on a call. He'll present also a little bit, and also he'll be there to mentor you. Second place is $300 in cash, and third place is $200 in cash. And also, if in case you didn't want, still don't get disappointed, because this is all just a preparatory event for the hackathon, so that we can start the creative juices, start flowing, start thinking about what to build, how to build, create, ideate on that idea. So I think if you're already here, you're well prepared for our hackathon. So for today's event, we'll have some tracks. So here, explain a little bit about the tracks. Very shortly, sorry. So we have here, I think, 8 or 9 tracks. I think 8 tracks, and they're not exclusive to each other. So basically, this is just so you can participate in any of the tracks, and it's not that some track will get winners and the other may not. It's basically for us just to understand what kind of you're building and try to structure that. So here are several of these tracks. There'll be, I think, Marco maybe will tell a little bit more about these tracks later on, or maybe I can go through this also. But basically, some of these tracks, we can check them out here. So first is micropayments, so real-time fractional value. So something you can do, for example, in Algorand, but it's a bit harder to do on, let's say, in dollars or euros. Machine-to-machine payments, autonomous value flows. So this is kind of yeah, maybe this one I'll leave it the explanation a bit later. We can jump into it later. Agentic payments, so AI agents that transact. Pay as you go, metered premium resources, so something instead of using an API. Subscriptions and renewals, so autonomous recurring payments. Pay per API calls, and then we have OpenClaw and OpenCode. And yeah, finalizing with just open innovations. So if something doesn't fit, you can just go into this category. So this is basically kind of a short overview of how it will be structured, and also what's happening after this. So after this, we will have, so the idea is that it's not just one-off event. We have Web3 masterclasses, which are starting on the 10th of March. So if you're relatively new to Web3, you can attend this program. This will be online. This will help you to get the kind of the basics of Web3. And we will have, this is the hackathon. So this is the hackathon, which will be hosting in a month, to be hosted right here, back in 42 Berlin. It will be for a weekend, 10th to 12th of April, so starts Friday evening at 6 p.m. and we'll go through all the weekend. So you have here all this ground floor to hack, to ideate, to make actually what you ideated here to make a reality. And we'll have a lot of prizes. We'll have $20,000 in prizes. So this will be kind of a, I think, nice spot for you to build your idea. So yeah, please register here, and all these links also will be in our group. So I think that's more or less this, and then I'll give a word to Marco to explain a little bit more about what X402 is. Yes.
Yeah. So I did not read to you what the tracks are on DoraHack because I believe in you that you can read it for yourself. And if something is unclear, of course, I'm happily give you. Sorry?
Do you need your computer?
It's the same presentation?
No, it's a different one.
No.
It's a different one.
Didn't you just add to mine?
No.
Okay, then I need my computer. Okay, the last time I was here, I asked a question that I got an answer to that I did not expect. I will ask the question again. Who here is a developer or self-identifies as a developer? That's already a lot more than last time. Who here would think they are a builder? Okay. Who does not identify with any of those categories? Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I will ask you what you're doing. So my name is Marco. I work for the Pera Wallet. That is one of the most awesome crypto wallets, especially for the Algorand blockchain. But I am here today to talk to you about X402. We can discuss later if you should call it X402, which is my preference, or you should call it X402, like Misha just did. I've been told that the businessy people tend to say 402, but that's one syllable more, so I will not do that because I'm a developer. I identify as a developer, and thus I'm lazy, so I would say X402. If you, we will get back to a comparison for that, and I want to give you a very brief overview. I did the same presentation yesterday in an online workshop. Was anyone there? Okay, yesterday, oh, cool, thank you. Yesterday was like 1.5 hours. I will try to do that in 20-ish minutes now, so we would skip over a couple of the things because If necessary, you can just approach me later and we can discuss the things in there. So we will start with what x402 actually is. So TLDR, I hope most of you know what that means. It's like too long, didn't read. That's like basically the recap. What is it in a nutshell? It is a internet native payment standard that was proposed by Coinbase. It's based on an HTTP error code 402. We will get back to that in a bit more detail. And it enables a lot of use cases like micropayments at scale, some of the things that Misha mentioned from the tracks that you can have like on-demand compute access, paper API calls, and a lot of other things. We will get back to the use cases again. And first, I want to roll back to, oh no, wait. Let's start with this one here. No, wait. Let's do the same order as yesterday. So in the upcoming world of agentic commerce, we tend to see 3 different approaches that this is going to happen. So we can have human-to-agent interactions, like you talk to your shopping agent, you tell it, book me a flight to, I don't know, to the Bahamas, and give me the most recommended hotel that is within my budget, and the agent will go and do stuff for the human. Then you can imagine that there's an agent-to-agent communication involved, maybe even in like the same scenario. So your booking agent kind of like ventures out there and from some registry pulls like the flight booking agent and the hotel booking agent, and then those two communicate autonomously. Maybe they negotiate prices, book packages, add options or something. So there's also a world where we have like an agent-to-agent communication. And then maybe at the other end of this, there could be an agent-to-machine communication where, for example, the flight agent eventually goes to the API of, I don't know, some airline and books the flight for you. So you can imagine all of these interactions in the same scenario, but of course they can be like freely composed, decomposed, whatever. So it's a very flexible scenario there. But all of those basically work in very similar ways in the underlying technology. It is expected that the agentic economy alone by the year 2030 exceeds $30 trillion US. To put that in scale, that is roughly today's GDP of the USA. So it's a fairly big number. And this is why we think this is like a specifically exciting field to start like playing around with, which is probably why we are all here. So how do we do like all of these payment scenarios? We could come up with yet another standard. I hope, like, does anyone know XKCD comics? This is where this is from. It's like for the nerds, they know that. So there are hundreds and thousands of XKCD comics for many, many years. They are published daily, roughly, I think. And for any scenario, you can find an XKCD comic. They're usually very scientific, but also sarcastic in that scientific one. And this one here is about to solve the problem of many concurrent standards, we come up with another standard. So first we start out with 14 standards, and then we want to solve this problem. We want to reduce it to 1, and we end up with 15 standards. And we see the same problem in the payment situation at the moment. And this is why we actually go back to one of the most famous protocols that exists today. Every one of you uses this thing. Some of you using it right now, probably. Who does not know what the HTTP protocol is? Thank you. And the HTTP protocol is actually fairly old. Like the first drafts are from the early 90s, from a guy called Sir Tim Berners-Lee. I hope that name rings a bell when you know what HTTP is. If not, I will tell you later. And it is basically the foundation of what we call the web, the World Wide Web. So if you go to your browser, you click in the address bar, you will see HTTP:// and then the address for that. So this is basically what enables the modern web. And I made air quotes on this slide because it says internet native. And this is also what all the marketing material says. Controversial take on my end. this is web native, not internet native, because the internet can happily exist without the web. There's more than just the web on the internet. Of course, the web is like by far the most used application of the web. Anyone, like, apart from the people who were there yesterday, anyone know who that is? Yes, thank you. Maybe some of you know the investment firm A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz. This is Mark Andreessen. He's basically like the A9 of A16Z. And he also used to be co-founder of one of the earliest browser projects in the early 90s, a browser called Mosaic. And he was one of the people driving the HTTP protocol. On his recommendation, they put the error code 402 payment required in the early drafts of the HTTP protocol. The specification to this day says reserved for future use. And the future is now. I'm not sure if they will change it in the actual specification, but we are here to talk about x402, which is like an implementation on top of this error code. This is where the name comes from. So now you have some party show of knowledge around that. And he's, like the original quote is a bit different, but in essence, he said, not baking in a payment layer into the HTTP protocol is the original sin of the internet. Because when you don't have this payment layer and you need a monetization mechanism, what you might end up with is a world where everything is financed by ads. Where are we nowadays? Everything is full of ads, so people need to earn money with that. But imagine, instead of going to someone's blog and have like more ads than actual content on that blog, you would pay them a fraction of a penny to consume the content. In the end, they might even like earn more. You don't even feel it. You have a much better experience doing that. And this was basically the vision he had back then. Unfortunately, until recently, it did not come into fruition. And that is because, let's call them classical payment rails, are prohibitively expensive for these kind of scenarios. Like a credit card transaction usually costs like 20 to 30 cents fix plus 2 to 3% commission. And for a scenario where you want to pay, in this example, a cent, or you can imagine this to be fractions of cents, it's like 3,000 to 30,000% that you pay for the transaction fee than for the actual transaction. And for the vast majority of scenarios, that's just prohibitively expensive. Along comes Coinbase and Cloudflare, who work on implementations of X4 or of some flavor of this 402 standard. And in the end, Coinbase came up with the idea of X402 as an open standard where you can provide implementations for the standard that eventually should be interchangeable and interoperable. And yeah, they came up with that. And they solved the problem of being either too expensive, like I just said, the credit card transactions, of being too slow. Like, for example, SWIFT payments, international bank transfers can take several days. There are like many parties involved in transferring the value, clearing it at the border of different countries. We have alternative systems that solve some of these problems, but they come with other problems like Bitcoin, Ethereum, rather slow, not exactly cheap. Like variable in their fees, and like a whole catalog of other shortcomings they have there. But however, blockchains crystallized as being the perfect match for the scenarios that that we are usually looking at. So we are like digital native, programmable, it's permissionless, and however, most of these come with a couple of downsides, like too slow, too expensive. We had that. We have forking risks where maybe someone does a transaction on there, expects it actually to be settled, but it turns out it needs to be rolled back because it ended up in a fork on one of the chains. And this is exactly where Algorand is jumping in. Okay, that's the wrong order. Where Algorand is jumping in, I will come back to that, how we are solving some of these problems. So generally, the idea of X402 is as simple as you can imagine. An agent or some client, someone with a smartphone maybe, comes, requests a resource. So it's basically you go to a website, show me the website. This is what happens under the hood with the HTTP protocol. Then we have a server that has like a set of rules that says if someone wants to access this, they need to provide proof of payment. If they don't provide that, so that they don't send any payment proof with it, you just say, error code 402, payment required. So as if you would like to access something that doesn't exist, most of you probably saw a 404 error code in their life, right? So I expect that. It's one of the most common error codes you can get. And this is the same principle here. But the x402 specification now says that it sends a payload with this header that specifies how payment is supposed to happen. And that basically says you need to provide this amount, and you have the option to send it on this, or this payment rail. Payment rail usually in our scenarios will mean a blockchain. And then you can provide like a whole catalog of blockchains that you support, or just for your use case, you need specific properties of the chain that we come back to when we talk about Algorand. And you decide you just serve for this single one. So it's an open protocol, and it should be interoperable in the end. Then somehow the client does this transaction. In the x402 specification, there's a component that's called the facilitator, and that basically makes sure that everything is paid. And it also has properties that makes it a bit easier that things are paid. I will get back to that as well, and I keep saying that. And then you send the request again. You attach the proof of this payment, and the server then says, okay, here is your data, your website, whatever you requested. That's it, basically. That's the whole principle. You can imagine that there's like a huge number of scenarios that can be made possible with that. And this is like the straightforward, simple version. There are like approaches that can get more complex, but under the hood, it's that. And if you like see what the HTTP protocol, which is basically just give me the resource, here's the resource, what that enabled in the end, like everything, essentially. Social media, whatever people are currently looking up, like everything, just with like these simple primitives. And then there is in the specification of x402 a couple of roles. So we have a merchant, that's basically the person who provides this endpoint, the resource, and they decide for the access rules. Like this URL costs this much to access, I accept like these payment rails and so forth. And it adds this to the server, and the server basically just has like an enforcement mechanism to send this 402 payment back. Any of you ever built a web app? Okay, so you probably use something like Express, Fast API, you name it, and you probably heard of this concept of a middleware. So something that you can just add on top of the routes that you define. And this is how this is like supposed to work in the end. And then we have this facilitator component that is specified as being optional. I haven't seen like an implementation without it so far. And that basically makes sure that the payment is like processed and settled, and you can verify from the resource server that the payment happened. And then you can integrate this into any HTTP-based transport mechanism like HTTP itself, MCP, not MPC, like the Model Context Protocol. Like, I guess developer, techie people, or even the businessy people have heard of that. Yeah, okay. And then there are like more acronyms, like Amazon calls them TLAs, three-letter acronyms, where you can integrate this. We will probably encounter a couple more TLAs during the day, and we have stuff like A2A, the agent-to-agent protocol. Those are upcoming standards in the agentic world, so probably something that you will encounter over and over. So basically everything that is HTTP-based can be enhanced by these x402 capabilities. I have seen, this is not official information, that x402 is outgrowing the pure HTTP basis, and I have seen x402 communication inside of JSON payloads. If you don't know what that means, don't bother. So I don't know. There are scenarios where x402 is used one layer or two layers above just HTTP communication. If you're interested in that, I can show you that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't bother. Stay with HTTP and the basics. And then this is actually like the whole flow. This is the more complete or pretty complete communication that is happening between all of those components. That you have the client that requests the resource. Resource server says you need payment. Client makes sure payment's happening somehow, or like prepares the payment. Sends the signed payment transaction. The resource server passes this on to the facilitator, because for us, the facilitator actually does a cool trick. It sponsors the fees with something that we call atomic transaction groups. We will get back to that. And that means that as the client, you don't even have to care what the underlying currency is that you have to pay the fees in. So who is like working with blockchain stuff every now and then? Okay, usually you would pay the fees in the blockchain's governance currency, the local currency, like ETH on Ethereum, Bitcoin on Bitcoin, Algo on the Algorand blockchain. And as the client, you don't really have to like deal with any of that. You don't have to provide it or anything, because usually the resource server would say, for sake of interoperability, pay that in dollars. And we have a digital representation of the dollar, or several actually, that we call stable coins. You probably have heard of that, like USDC, for example, from the company Circle. And that is all the client actually needs to know. Then he sends this currency back, and the facilitator sponsors the transaction fees that are also like ridiculously cheap on chains like Algorand. And then it does a couple more things that are technical details. You probably don't have to know that. It simulates the request. And it knows for sure that it will pass, because the simulate basically executes the transaction without executing it. So it knows the transaction will pass. This will also allow us, when something goes wrong, that it doesn't actually have to wait for the blockchain itself to tell it that it fails, but it can return as fast as possible. And then basically the facilitator will just tell the resource server that the payment is verified. And then we have like a couple of branches here. And the response gets back to the client that either everything is okay or something went wrong. That's basically the complete flow of information. That's the simplified version of that, or like the extended version of this simplified version. On Algorand, we have a couple of things that we think makes this a perfect fit for us. We have a high throughput of up to 10,000 transactions per second. We have a block time, so a block is created every, I think at the moment, 2.8 seconds or so. And we have very, very low transaction fees of 0.001 algo. One algo, you can look it up, is currently just like a couple of cents at the moment, and you can calculate what that means. So basically, negligible transaction fees there. We have 0 seconds to reach transaction finality. That means once your transaction is in the block, in those 2.8 seconds, it's there. It cannot be rolled back, and you know for sure it was successful. On other chains, you have like several verification runs, and you have to wait for like up to 15 minutes or so until you can be absolutely sure that this happened. Here we have up to 2.8 seconds to be sure that everything worked correctly or not, which allows it actually to be part of a synchronous communication flow. So even if someone sits there and clicks the button to execute like this communication, they don't have to wait like minutes. They just have to wait a couple of seconds. We never had any forks. We never had any downtime. I think we are approaching 7 years of being up. And you see those are like last year's numbers. So we exceeded them as well. And we think that the speed and this instant finality are perfect fits for a scenario like an x402 payment. We had scenarios where someone sent like 2 million USDC, so the US dollar stablecoin, within 2 seconds for a total fee of 0.0004 cents. So scenarios that are absolutely impossible with traditional payment rails.
So with the passage of the Genius Act and probably the passage of Clarity Act and all these things, now that USDC and possibly USDT is bringing into regulatory framework, do you expect this to be better, be the same, or be worse?
With this, you mean what?
So the USDC is about to become regular.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Do you expect this to benefit this? Overall?
Yes,
okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Like regulatory clarity is always like an advantage for any company dabbling into any space, right? So like, there's not even a question for me, I would say. Like, I'm not an expert on that, but like this is, I don't know. I wouldn't have any other expectations than this, like improving the situation. Yeah. So I basically covered all that. So we have x402, it's this very simple scenario, and we have like this mechanism of fee sponsoring. That's essentially what this thing here says. And we do that with atomic transaction groups, technical detail under the hood that you don't need to know unless you want to look into the tech a little bit more detailed. So we can combine transactions, like here the payment transaction and the sponsored fee transaction, and put them in a transaction group that is executed atomically, like from the original Greek. I don't know, does anyone speak Greek, Old Greek? Atom means something like indivisible. So you cannot take them apart. So they're either all executed or none of them are executed. And that's essentially the technical construct that's underneath that comes from the protocol itself. So if you work with other blockchains, you would certainly need some kind of smart contract that makes sure that these things are executed together. For us, this is baked into the protocol, also like one of the mechanisms that makes it, like, I would say, ridiculously easy to work with concepts like that. We have developer tooling in TypeScript and Python. So we have a tool set that is collectively called AlgoKit that helps with local development. And we have, of course, like documentation for all of this. We will get back to what agent skills are. We have a facilitator up and running from our partners from Go Plausible. The code is available as well, something that will become more important for the hackathon, so not necessarily today. And of course, we run events like this one here. I will skip the demo because like we don't want to necessarily build stuff today. And I hope that the principle is clear, right? It's super easy. Somewhere in the communication, you can bake in like this payment scenario. And if you would like to have access to any of the code or the documentations, come and approach me, and we will have a look into that. And this is from our India branch. Those are some of the applications that they would like to see someone building, like resource gateways, where you basically can come up with, I don't know, maybe plugins or so into like some of the resource gateways that exist. I don't know. Probably some of you know better. There's like reverse proxies where you can build this into. I see a lot of question marks. So if you need technical details, come and approach me. Agent wallets, that's also like a big open field. Of course, that contains like more problems than just the payment. Like what about reputation of agents, identity of agents, all of these things. Maybe some of you work on stuff like this already and just missed like a way of payments. This would be this, discovery protocols, reputation systems also. But you can go as simple as doing micropayments, having the agent pay like autonomously. Super interesting scenario for developers, I think, is pay per API call. So usually when you are working with some service, you have to have a subscription. They give you an API key. You use the API key in your request to this API. But you could also just like send the payment on a request basis. No subscription required. And this opens the door for amazing scenarios. Like imagine you have a platform where the agent can discover APIs. APIs can also mean other agents, tools the agent can use. And they don't have to have a subscription. They can just like per request pick the best candidate and use that service. Period. Like powerful, omnipotent agent you just created. Don't call it Skynet. Then machine-to-machine payments can be the same. If some IoT device, IoT, I hope people have heard, was cool when I was at the university many, many moons ago. You can have like actors requesting data from sensors and pay like on a per request basis. pay-as-you-go autonomous subscription and renewal services. Like, I don't know, this is maybe like a slide you can take a picture of, use it for inspiration, something like this. Sorry, have you? Okay. And yeah, some other ideas also from our colleagues from India. So for streams, for example, you can like do like metered like payment per request. Instead of like signups and credit cards, you can just do what I just suggested. You can have like very exact payment like per unit. I'm not 100% sure how you would build this into HTTP streams, for example. It's something that I would like to see, that like you maybe pay per chunk, because you can also, if anyone is interested, you can stream video over HTTP. That was also cool when I was at the university, probably a standard that doesn't exist anymore. And maybe you can connect this somehow with paying for each chunk of this stream in there. So I don't know, many scenarios. And also a couple of ideas we have in here where we see that these payments, in most cases autonomously, can be applied. And yeah, I think most of you are smarter than I am, and you are more creative, and you will come up with ideas that I cannot even imagine. And I would like to see some of these today. Oh, sorry. Okay, and then probably rather interesting for the people who want to build stuff after this, and then also for the hackathon, we have agent skills, basically like bundled resources that you can add to your most favorite coding agent or whatever agent you are using. We have MCP servers for a bunch of things, and we have something that is called VibeKit that basically allows you to configure your development environment to also include like all of the above and more. And of course, like for the agent skills, we also have x402 skills, but those will be like more interesting when we approach like how to actually do the coding stuff. Then we have the Ideathon today. We have the Agentic Commerce Hackathon on April 10th and 12th, like Misha already told us about that. And that's essentially it. The Q&A will be until we leave the room, or until we leave the building, actually. So whenever you have a question, come and approach one of us. Come to me, to Misha, or to my colleague Ram. And yeah, happy pitching.
Yes. So thank you very much. We will. Thank you very much. And now we'll just give MJ, who is the implementer of this of x402 implementation for Algorand, to give a couple of words, introduce himself, and let me do that. Hi MJ, can you hear?
Yeah. Hello everyone, and welcome to Algorand Berlin Ideathon. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, so first of all, I want to give a very, very warm welcome to everybody here. Actually, every long road starts with the smallest of steps, and for building and being productive, it starts with an idea, a simple idea, which you actually create, nurture it, work around it, spend some time on it, drink a lot of coffee on it, and for sure, having a lot of sleepless nights after that, staying awake and building that into a success. And this is what we are looking for, the first step, which is an idea here in this Ideathon. And I hope every and each one of you come up with a great idea that could, first of all, help yourself to achieve success, and secondly, help Algorand community and ecosystem to grow bigger and bigger, because every community is based on these small ideas and the builds which will eventually be gathered around these simple ideas. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm MG. I'm the co-founder of Go Plausible. Go Plausible is one of the actually one of the very old startups on Algorand. And we provided several different services and features from DIDs to verifiable credentials, and eventually for the past 3 years, AI toolings and infrastructure for Algorand, and specifically focused on Algorand. The X402 is one of those implementations, and the not only the implementations, all of the toolings around that, and the codes, examples, and everything. We are proud to provide them for Algorand ecosystem. And now, before any further ado, let's jump on how can you actually utilize these tools and examples and everything in order to come up with great ideas how to put X402 in use, because without that, there is no value in whatever we have built. Very simply, because my colleague has provided a lot of very, very good insights right into X402, I will not repeat them. And just I want to mention some points about how important this specification and protocol actually is for the web, and what does it mean for the future of web, which will be agentic. Before X402, there were a lot of frictions because there were human in loop, human interventions within any payment interaction and payment loop. When you wanted to pay for a service, for a URL, for everything, you need to provide, payment cards. You need to provide verification for your identity, provide the information on your card, and so on and so forth. You're familiar with the terms. But with X402, actually, Web3 and all of the capabilities Web3 can bring to the payment rails have joined this flow and this process, which means elimination of a lot of those frictions, making things completely automatic. And that means that you can have agents working on your behalf, for sure, with some limitations and quotas and everything set by you initially. But they can work on your behalf in order to access whatever that needs payments in order to be accessed, and gain access to those resources, to those APIs, to those MCP servers, whatever you name it. You can actually implement X402 for any kind of protected content by payment requirements. And after you equip your protected content, which requires payment with X402 protocol, actually one of the biggest benefits is that it can be automatically accessed by any agent and agentic web. And this is the ultimate goal for X402. And I think you need to circle your minds around this concept. What can I do to actually make it easier for agentic access to resources, APIs, and everything in order to create new values, new type of values? Because despite things that are being said around, the rumors, the AI is here to destroy jobs and things. No, such as internet, AI is yet another great technology, is here to disrupt the way we interact with each other and we create value, not destroying things, disrupting and evolving things. So think about it this way and try to come up with great ideas regarding that. And in order to give you a very simple glimpse of what will be possible, let me just demonstrate for you a very simple use case with one of the most famous agentic frameworks out there, the OpenClaw. And how can you use X402 with OpenClaw? That being said, we have created, in addition to what my dear colleague just mentioned, we have also created two new great plugins for agentic frameworks. Now, one is the OpenClaw Algorand plugin, and the second is the Claude Code Algorand plugin. Using those, you don't need any extra stuff, any extra CLI, nothing like that. Just native plugin. You just install it within your framework, and everything Algorand without any external resource needed, external MCP, external blah, 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 it will be at your service. All the knowledge, all the everything, without any paid APIs or limited access or things like that. It will be at your service. So feel free to use them, and I will demonstrate how OpenClaw, equipped with OpenClaw Algorand plugin, can access actually payment required and payment protected resources automatically without even you knowing that, and gain access to them using the plugin that we have created for that. So let me share my screen and we go to the interesting parts. Okay, if you see my screen, I have here now the OpenClaw terminal UI open, and it's a new session. And I have some example weather payment protected API that I will use here. And the Algorand plugin is installed for OpenClaw here in this session. And what I just tell the agent, say, okay, get weather from this URL, which is a protected URL. And let's see how the agent will do that. Based on the skills, MCP tools, and everything, which is yet again not differently and separatedly installed, they're all embedded within that one single plugin that you will install. It will not pollute your workspace. It will not copy paste files. It will be just working natively within your agentic framework. As you can see, because of the skills, it just detects that it is a x402 payment protected resource. And now it, based on the workflow that has been defined for the agent within the skills, it now goes, checks the wallet, which is made available by the embedded MCP for the agents, finds out how many 19.9 USDC is available within the wallet. Based on the payment requirements coming from the payment protected resource, it knows that it should be looking for the test net. And because the MCP is, the connected MCP is multi-network, testnet, local net, and mainnet, it immediately detects that it should be working on testnet. And now it, based on the skills and the flows it knows regarding how to construct an x402 supported payment group, it just goes and create the payment transaction group according to the instructions it has. And now, as you can see, for the fee sponsorship, it sets the fee sponsorship 0 fee for the payment transaction, actual payment transaction you are making by your agent wallet. And the rest of the fees, the sum of all fees required will be set in the fee payment transaction, which will be taken care of by facilitator sponsoring the fees. And now the agent goes to, after constructing everything, it goes to repeat the request to x402 payment protected resource and try to get it. For some reason, if it faces some errors, it has instructions to check what went wrong. And if there is something wrong, it just tries to refresh them, try to fix the issue, and reapply the request to that payment protected resource. Now let's see how it goes.
While we are waiting,
Yeah.
anyone working with Cloud Code?
Yes, the Cloud Code plugin is separately available. The Cloud Code, the Algorand plugin for Cloud Code, it is available separately. So both of them are available.
Yep. And who's working or has at least tried OpenClaw? Okay, thank you. Who does not know what OpenClaw is? Okay, cool.
Now, as you here, as you can see, the issue for the first sets of transaction, which was not fees not being set correctly, has been detected by the agent, and it's now trying to correct what was what went wrong in the first turn and repeat everything. Now, as you can see, it finds the correct based on the skills. It finds the correct setting of the transactions, sets the fees for the fee payment transaction, and tries again. So it will be completely automatic, even if some issues, because not every single turn of operations here, as you can see, the results have popped up. The weather is sunny and the temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Not a very important point to mention, agents and LLMs are not deterministic. Every time you open a session with an LLM, it can go differently because it is based on millions of probabilistic fine-tuned parameters, and each time some of them can be different. The important point is that within your use or created plugins or skills, there should be instructions about when you face this issue, how the agent actually, how you should try to resolve it. And when those instructions are there, as you can see, there is no need for asking human intervention. The agent detects what goes wrong, fixes it, maybe it just missed something in the first place, fixes it and reapplies it, and as you can see, it achieves the results. The transaction which has been made, the transaction is here for you to check if you want within the explorers for Algorand, and the result is popped up here. So let's have great ideas for X402 and use all of these amazing tools that have been provided for you in order to fine-tune those ideas, and best of luck for you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, MJ, for the presentation. I think it's really cool also to see more like these more experimental use cases. That's all OpenClaw, so that could be used there. Thank you very much. And now we have, last but not least, we have Ram from the Algorand Growth Lab. Yes, thank you very much. Just to introduce you a little bit what kind of support you could also get in the future, because basically all of this series of events is for you to kind of start ideating, start working in it, and then potentially hope that out of this, some maybe startups will arise. Please. Can you put it here if you want to?
No, it's fine. Thank you. And it's a lot of people. And so I'm Ram. I work with Algorand. I used to run their accelerator program, and now we are focusing what we call Algorand Startup Lab. It's also a kind of an accelerator plus a mentorship and a growth lab for all the projects that are coming out of hackathons, builder programs, and help them actually go on to raise funds and also go to market. So the goal for us is to find smart founders and builders like you who want to pursue the ideas that they build from these hackathons full time, and actually get more users, go on to raise funds, and actually build something that's very valuable, not just for you in terms of your experience, but also for the world, because people actually use it. So we're basically looking for people who want to change the world with the things that they build, which ideally start from here. So we support founders in different ways. We provide capital in different stages as they need it. Plus, there's a lot of mentorship from the vertical leads, depending on which vertical you're building, and also a lot of network access, because when you go on to raise funds, you need a lot of network, you need a lot of mentors, and so capital, mentorship, and network, that's what we provide through our programs. And yeah, there are some projects that came out of last year's hackathons and builder programs that are actually part of a program this year. So I'm excited to see how many more we can get from this year. Good luck, guys.
So, so then basically we can start the ideation, Ideathon ideation session. I'll just shortly just reiterate on who are the mentors. So who can you approach? So we have several. We do have, I think, 5 mentors altogether. We have Marco Podien. So he just did a presentation. So he's a senior DevRel for Pera Wallet, has been working the Algorand Foundation for a long time. So I think technical things and all that would be excellent. He would be excellent choice. We have Ram, who just presented also. So in terms of business, in terms of making it actually a useful thing for somebody who making some kind of business model. I think he would be perfect. And for growth. Then we have Victor Estival, who is now on our call. So he will be available together with MJ. They'll be remotely available to provide you coaching. So Victor Estival is head of product at Algorand Foundation. Yes, thank you. That's Victor. So we will open a Google Meets call. It will be posted in the mentor section of our Telegram group. So you'll be able to talk to Victor for product, for all things going to market. And MJ, of course, the person who wrote this implementation. So he'll be also here. And he, I think on the technical side, on the founder side, so he went through this founder journey already himself. So I think that will be an excellent person to talk to. I think I covered everyone. And so when we can start the ideation session. If you need to find a team, please approach us. Please approach me, and we'll try to pair you. If you have an idea, that's great. We do have here also a sheet because we will have a bit of limited time for pitches. So just to reiterate, if you haven't been here for my previous presentation, the pitches will be 3 minutes and 1 minute Q&A. So you'll be here. So for the pitches, please submit them on Dora Hacks. If you haven't seen that, and please put the name if you would like to pitch the name of your group, and we'll go through this list. And we will start pitches either at 5 p.m. or at 4:30, depending how many pitches we have in the list.
I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna put the mic. I think I'm probably okay. So when we have a first team is AlgoBizSuit. Is Sebastian from AlgoBizSuit here? A microphone for you? You can add to your.
To my, okay. Right. Oh, Rex. So, great, it opens. All right.
We'll put the timer for you. Just when you're ready, tell us, and we'll have a timer, and we'll have also the mic.
Can you just prepare the video right now?
Yeah. Just a second. We'll just take a second to prepare.
Yeah. But how do I turn it on?
It's on.
It's always on.
No, you can turn it off, but it's on. The blue LED says it's on.
Okay. I don't want it to be on all the time.
You can turn it off by long pressing the button on the side.
It's going on.
Yeah, so let's just introduce myself. I'm Kaitan Weiss. Thank you for having us, and thank you for your attention. For fairness reasons, I will wait before I explain further what we do, so we all have the fair chances. And we prepared a small video for you, and do a small pitch just on the fly.
Okay, I'm gonna put your timer for you. So
Yes.
So we'll have, just to remind everyone, 3 minutes per pitch, 1 minute for Q&A. I'll put the timer for 3 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay, please. Whenever you're ready.
So what we do, we have an online shop software, which is in total ERP system, an electronic resource planning system. And what we show here is the online shop. When we as a customer go to this website, which is a shop in this case, which is a front end for customers from the ERP system. And we show how we can buy a product, which is very similar to online shops we see already. So, and what will be shown now, we have the know your customer process, where you fill in a web form like you normally do when you first approach a web shop where you haven't bought something already. You just fill in your credentials and stuff, where you come from, what's your name, your contacts, and we can connect with the Pera Wallet and pay via Pera with USDC, for example.
So now we see we are connected. It shows our address and where we connect on mainnet or testnet in this case. And we are processing the payment. We are waiting for the blockchain to process the payment right now. It's very similar to the DeFi platforms we all used to on the Algorand platform. We can also view the transaction on the Algorand blockchain via the Pera Explorer. And we can sign in as a customer to actually see our invoice list. So we see, and it is already paid via the Algorand blockchain. So we show this system just to show this is what's already done without the x402 system. Yeah. So what does 402 enable us to do? Now imagine we don't have a business to customer perspective, but a business to business perspective. And what we want to do with the 402 protocol is autonomous procurement. That means we have a business and we have a product catalog. And another business has also a product catalog. This needs to be standardized. And via the 402 protocol, we can access a product endpoint, and the 402 protocol will answer us, oh, this is something you need to pay for. If you want to make a purchase order, would you need to pay for it? And we gather information from the 402 response about the purchasing requirements. And we gather this from different deliverers, suppliers for the product, and then can compare it by an AI agent. And so this can be autonomously created and completely be autonomous in a business-to-business perspective. That's what it is.
Thank you. We are a little bit over time. We'll have still a little bit of time for questions, if we have any.
Yes. I still need to think about how to formulate it. Can you, in 2 sentences, explain why x402 is a good fit for this idea?
So we access a product endpoint, and what we need from that product endpoint is how much the product costs and in which currency is accepted and different more requirements. And the 402, what we hope for is that the 402 protocol will standardize this for many different suppliers. So the agent can get this information and compare it automatically.
The idea is try to automatize the supply chain decision that the agent is doing in an ecosystem based in small businesses. Let's say that we have several businesses running, the supply chain could be dynamic in the future using agency procurement.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, I think I understood. So the agent requests several endpoints, compares the prices, and then directly responds with a payment to the one it decides for.
Yeah, because the agent knows all the ingredients that you need to do your products.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much. We are out of time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. So next we have Booksmart. I will take the microphone. Sorry, I'll get the microphone.
Okay.
Explanations on the sport agent or no?
So for I'm here.
They're already pretty clear. So export is just a standard between multiple blockchains. I mean, otherwise,
it's kind of like connecting the payment directly to some kind of HTTP request. That's the whole.
So whenever you're ready, tell us.
This is working though.
but for someone to accept typical Algorand, payment, then support on both the ends.
will give you.
As in, like,
Timer.
the way it differs from a traditional Algorand
Okay.
crypto payment would be that a typical Algorand payment needs
Okay, we can go. Yeah.
and the receiver.
So yeah, we are paid to unlock. So the missing infrastructure layer for payments, like for booking a property. So the problem is that today rental check-ins are broken. So the users are waiting on the sidewalk, paying, jiggling multiple apps, and like slow fade payments. So like if you go there and like you just have to book something instantly, it takes a while. And for hosts, they are renting, they have like multiple rental properties, they are locked into costly PMS software. They're losing 3 to 5% to fiat fees and unable to accept crypto. So our solution is API ready for any platform or AI agent. And basically what we do is any platform can use our API to book an apartment, and with 402 it goes like you pay for the apartment and it goes to the door lock API and you get the keys. Like there's a smart lock that's called Nuki. By example, they have like you can book for 5 days and you get like 5 days worth of keys. So you can use that key for 5 days, and we are making all of this automatic. So like we have to build the API service for any platform they could use, and the router for any lock. So basically, like the property managers can have like different kinds of locks and use different kinds of platform, but with our API service, it could be like one autonomously flow. So yeah, our target market is like booking platforms, like AI travel agents and assistants. Like in the future, when everyone will have their AI assistant, and we just like book me an apartment in Berlin, like for 100 euros, and you just get the key directly in your chat. And so next, what do we have? Yeah, so this is the whole architecture, how everything works, but this is like just the pitch. We can move on to the next slide. So TLDR, you book an apartment, it pay via 402, and you just get the code and enter. So that's it. So yeah, okay, yeah. So how do we make money? It's via API, via transaction fees, API white labeling, or SaaS subscription. So there's a different kind of ways to make money.
Very much.
Yeah.
We have now on time. We have 1 minute for questions.
Yeah, who are you selling this solution to? If you had to sell this solution to, are you selling it to booking platforms? Are you selling it to people who are using, people who need to book, or is it to property managers?
So our target focus is property managers. So they could have because there are a lot of platforms that people are using to book. So like if booking in the future is willing to accept crypto payments, they could use our API to make that like super easy, from like booking to getting the keys to enter the door without like in one single transaction. And platform manager, even if you are like you don't want to go over booking, you can have like 10 different apartments, and you just use our API. Like you can even put a sticker on your door, you scan it, you pay, and you just get the code. So like in one application, one flow, you enter.
So property managers or booking, because sometimes it's not the same. Right?
Yeah, like property manager, like it's basically for them, like booking if once, because our API can be used by nearly everything. So like if you want to go with us, if platform wants to use crypto, or just like a single person wants to rent his apartment, it's like.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next we have Scheme Pay. So here you have a mic.
Okay. I have to hold it?
Yeah, you can hold it, or you can put it here if you want.
And what is this?
This is kind of a magnet. You can either do that, or you can hold it here.
I'll just hold it. I'm not sure why it's not working. 1 second.
Takes a second.
Okay. Oh.
This is very good. So whenever we're ready, we start time.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
So Scene. So my name is Walaa. I'm the co-founder of Scene Pay. We've been in the market for some time now, and today I want to present how we can use Algorand and x402 to kind of expand our offering and solve some problems that we've been having. So basically, we founded the company from one observation, which is that gig workers in the service economy don't currently fall within the current infrastructure of payment systems, and they fall outside it. Then we created three products. So pay by link, cashless gratuity, which is like scan to tip, and team splits. I don't want to go too much into the details here, but basically the problem we're solving is that there's micro income. It's everywhere. It's small, it's frequent, it leaks. So basically it's like invisible. And that means that there's no system of record, which means that the worker doesn't have one place where all his income is. And that means that they're kind of locked out of like the financial systems that we have at the moment. And they cannot get extra services like loans, like, earned wage access, etc. So this is basically what we're doing, which is like a record of micropayments, so a system of record. And with Algorand, what we can do is we can solve some problems that we've been having when it comes to like custody for central banks. They require us to have certain regulations, and that kind of puts us in a very tough spot in certain target markets. But with Algorand, we can do something very easily with smart contract or their atomic split, where the custody becomes the worker themselves. They have full control over their money. We don't have to play anything other than the technology layer, and it solves that problem for us. And another problem it solves is obviously the fees part of things, because they're micropayments and gig workers get paid very small amounts, which can be like for services they provide or for tips, let's say. It doesn't really work with the current fiat payment rails because they have very high fees. And with Algorand, we can have predictable low fees. We can use their split payments to like have split for teams, or even we can take part of it ourselves. And there's fast finality, and we can do with the stablecoin. And this is kind of, thank you to Marco for helping me with this slide, but this is kind of where we think we can do with x402, how it can fit into this current structure, which is like some kind of client. It can be our web app at the moment, or in the future can be even a POS terminal. They request a payment. We give them through our own custom logic a x402 response with the option to tip. Then the gig worker obviously has their payment, but the client can say, okay, yes, I want to tip, or no. And then based on this response, we can then, go to the facilitator or have our own facilitator and send it to the gig worker. And this arrow should be the other way around, but yeah, you get the point. So yeah, that's basically it. We have some traction, blah, blah, blah. The target market is pretty, we still have like some in KSA and UAE. Oh shit, okay. Then moving on, this is basically, and you can download the app. It's already there, you can download it, but basically our servers are down right now because we were hit by a drone strike, in UAE. So, and the backup is in the same location, but it will be up soon, hopefully. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to be a bit further down, but it was good. So any questions?
Maybe we have questions from the online judges as well.
Question. MJ, Victor, will you have any questions?
I have a question similar to the question that Marco had before. Like, this is already feasible without x402. what do you think X402 is needed here? Is just to streamline the process or to have everything embedded into the HTTP protocol, or why do you think X402 is needed?
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, it will be embedded within the protocol, but I think it's needed here because then it can make this scene endpoint, which is our endpoint, kind of talk to any client in the future. So let's say someone wants to book this gig worker. So at some point when we have a lot of users, we will have like a big platform of like big database of people that offer their services, and then a client can book them and they can tip them directly in on the go. And so this client can be basically our platform at the moment, obviously our front end, but then in the future it can also be like an AI agent, or it can be other platforms as well who call basically our endpoint. And it can also be physical. So let's say a POS terminal. They can also call us, for instance. So it can also be a physical touch point through a POS terminal that calls our endpoint, and we process the payment with that.
One question, what are your current payment rails?
Currently, we are not a financially regulated entity. We're just providing the technology around it. And so we are currently using a financially regulated entity in Saudi Arabia. And they are just, a traditional payment gateway, and they handle everything for us. We outsource it, which obviously puts us in a tough position because we have very high fees with them, and also we cannot put our own rules. Yeah, we can't put our own rules and logic there.
No Web3 then? You don't use Web3 or any blockchain for payments?
No, currently no, but the idea is like we're pitching using Web3 to solve this problem, because we tried solving it with the fiat payment railways, and we're facing a lot of problems like regulatory custody problems and also the fees problems. And we don't have any control over the payment logic because it's all outsourced to local payment gateways in UAE and in KSA.
There is your answer for actually why X402 will fit in your scenario. This is exactly why.
Oh.
So you can overcome all those challenges. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very nice pitch. We have next go to X402 by Sergey. Whenever you're ready, tell me, and we'll start our time.
Yes, hi. So my idea is go to X402, not X402. And the tagline is, hey bro, get me this scooter. And this idea basically came from a problem that I had. Now here in Berlin, I was taking S-Bahn, there was a disruption. I go out of the station to get to where I want to get. I want to take whatever, a scooter or bike. I install 3 apps, I connect my cards, I have to make micropayments. It's a long process, and even then, it's still a problem. I cannot get scooter, even though they are all around. So my idea that I have now is basically this mobility as a service model. It's not unique. For example, ELB app here in Berlin uses it, but there are some others as well, and they are basically connecting to these services like Bolt, Lime, and so on. So it's all about the user flow. And the user flow, I think, should be user connects Algorand wallet. They click, maybe scan a scooter. They ask AI to unlock the scooter, the chatbot. And they basically take a ride and they pay as they go using 402 on Algorand. And then the intermediary settles with providers. So to explain a bit how I think it should work on the technical side, I have different components. One is this user app that is a simple Algorand wallet with a LLM that can talk to the backend server, so communicate with X402 for payments and can request a ride. Then we have a backend server that actually does the communication via API with the providers like Lime, Bolt, Uber, Dot, whatever. So this backend server should handle both fiat to pay to the providers and the Algorand currency, crypto, probably stablecoin will be the best, to receive payments and basically handle the money transfers. The toughest part is this API integrations with mobility providers. You basically need to integrate every provider separately. The happy path would be to have an official partnership, something like Yelby, as I said, already has. They via the app you can book different scooters, for example. So that would be nice. I also looked on the GitHub. It's possible to use some unofficial API. Maybe there is like some hacky way around, but that would be probably not very smooth. But anyway, the whole point is that this all is abstracted away from the user, and user just nicely interacts with the chatbot that makes all these payments. Yeah, and so the service is actually provided by companies. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much. So we have 1 minute for questions, both online or from the judges here.
No question.
No question.
Victor and G, do we have?
One question I just had, I'm still just a little bit unclear on what values does it add to currently available services. For example, I'm a bike renting service that have many bikes that people can rent with, scanning a QR code. Which value does your service add to services that already existing?
Yeah, so basically it's all about user experience. I think the chatbot integrations, like on Base App and so on, show that it's a very nice interface for users. I think if a user does not need to care about all the details, like what company does this particular scooter belong to, and this all is nicely abstracted away via a chatbot that can interact with x402. And all the payments, okay, which card and so on, you just have to have your one Algorand wallet, and you don't care about, okay, do you connect PayPal? Do you connect your card? If you go to a different country, does it still work? So I think it's all about just a nice, better user experience with the agent integration.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So then, if we have no more questions, then thank you very much, Srigiri. Do you have a microphone? Yes. Thank you very much. So next we have ThunderPay, Tanne and Omio. Whenever you're ready, then tell me, and I will.
Joe's. Yeah.
So, Antame and Omio.
Wait a second, I will start.
Antame and Omio from 42, and quick thanks to people from 42 and Misha for always hosting this event.
In ancient times, man feared the gods of Olympus, but not because they created value, they controlled access. If you wanted safe passage, you paid tribute. If you wanted protection, you paid tribute. If you wanted visibility, you paid tribute. And thousands of years later, we don't call them gods any longer, we call them platforms. In mythology, Zeus did not negotiate with false gods, he judged. And when he judged, the hammer fell. So let us introduce ThunderPay, native internet payments, because what if hotels didn't have to pay tribute anymore to be discovered? What if you could bring back the direct payment from hotels to customers, even now in the future with agents? Because people are already booking through agents. They still need now to click, but this will change even how trips are planned. So what we actually want to achieve is reduce the need of the expensive middleman as much as possible. And basically, because in the moment, hotels like booking platforms take around 22% of commission fee. It's like, it goes away from the service. Yeah. So a smart contract is the ideal solution for that. You can have, for example, 10 rooms at that price point, maybe in this category, for like 7 days online. And then if nobody books them, you just, the smart contracts invalidates and then something new gets pushed. So it's an easier way, even if you have an idea. Maybe you have a budget, fixed budget, 150 euros. I want to go in the next month to Sweden or Paris. Just figure something out. And Algorand is perfect just for that. Like even carbon neutral, instant booking confirmation, close to zero fee, it's stable coin, you have everything what you need, right? And yeah, let's see how this will go with the tech stack. But yeah, so there is a demand. And the moment Traveler is trying to do this, but they're still relying on stablecoin for that. But and then let's see how they do. Yeah. And that's it.
Any questions to Thunderpin?
So would you have your own platform, or would you connect with all the existing platforms?
So in the moment when you are a hotel, how to connect to so how to you sell your rooms? You have different APIs. You have different vendors, booking platforms that book through you. You have a system, and this system handles every room that could have been booked. So it checks everything. And this is just another adapter.
Yeah.
But thinking into the future, if you have an agent, the agent will always prefer that with the lowest cost.
Yeah.
So if this gets cheaper, then those other booking platforms, if you have like they have the same listing, but the price for the listing gets cheaper because you put the power back to the hotel, and that's it. So it will be easier.
So you would
to
connect directly to the ERP system of the hotel.
Yes, yes. Because like there are only 3 big vendors for that.
So you had to sell it to almost every hotel that's out there.
Yeah, in the end, it boils just down to you pick 1 or 2 hotels and say, look, we just want to test something.
Yeah.
We need 1 or 2 rooms for 1 week that could be bookable.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it. And then they will be in the press. This is the first. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you.
I have the evergreen question. Why would x402 be the good fit in there? And I would like to have the people who follow this pitch to make more emphasis on this. Why x402?
Because now, when you ask, for example, ChatGPT, book me a flight, book me a hotel room, then there's still in the last confirmation step, you need to click. Then you need to confirm through a Stripe payment or something like that. So there is no good chance that you can say, for example, please be able to, I want to go to Paris in the next 3 weeks and find something that is good. And if you find something that is good, I just want the last confirmation, should I book? Yes, and that's it. It even can start reserving certain rooms that the agent thinks I like. And if I don't book at that point, it just cancels automatically.
Reduces middleman,
Yeah.
increases agent-to-agent booking future, and reduces fees.
Yeah, that's that.
Thank you, Proxy.
Okay, thank you very much.
First question.
Okay, let's have one question from us.
Why is the future of the flies booking and not the future of payments?
So what was the beginning? What was the?
Why is the future of flies booking?
So not flight bookings, but it's literally for everything that can be booked. So literally you can book rides with your cars, but hotel bookings is something, because they're so reliant since 10 years just on the middleman that have a centralized database and everything goes through them. This is like literally, you just pay for that. And
Okay, I think unfortunately we have a little bit of time. We have to have 14 pitches. So thank you very much, Thunderpin. We'll need to keep this a little bit on track because we still have a lot of pitches to go through. Next one we have 402 PayForMe.
Should I press my stuff down?
Yes, sure.
As I submitted
For future, please try to stand here and have a microphone. So everyone is
Okay, should I?
So whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hey everyone, this is me, Majed. I'm also like partnering up with my friend. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm sharing the wrong screen. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so as I mentioned, my name is Majid. I'm also partnering up with my friend Muhammad. He's joining online now, currently watching this session. And we are pitching the idea for a PayForMe Proxy. The inspiration started when we were trying to do for a pay-as-you-go proxy, where basically it's just an HTTP proxy that where you can anyone can host it and monetize for like per request. So like you can charge whatever, like 0.1 USDC per request, or we can have it dynamic based on the number of the data size basically. And but eventually we tried to solve other issue inspired by this, which is for example, here currently we have let's say you have a couple of agents running on your host, Claude, OmniClaw, some Python script running. And today we saw like in the presentation earlier on, for example, when we were trying to use Algorand x402 with OpenClaw, we had to install a plugin for it and configure this plugin individually for each of these agents to connect to your wallet and pay for using your wallet. So the idea here is, so this is one of the problems that you need to configure each of these agents individually. The other one is it's an advantage and disadvantage, that the autonomity of it, that you might lose observability, I would say, because let's say you give access to your wallet, you give 3 agents access to your wallet, you might lose observability over who's spending what. So the solution is this. Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't know why this is part of the screenshot, so I will do this instead. So the idea is this, that we have some proxy here. This is an HTTP proxy that is configured to pay with your wallet. Like any of these agents would just send an HTTP request, like just assuming that it's a normal HTTP request without even knowing that it's a 402 endpoint. This proxy will intercept the reply coming from the resource that is protected with 402, and once it sees 402 in the header, it will do the payments with Algorand's platform, process the payment, and get the signature, which is the proof payment, and just return the response as. Sorry, it will also send the request back with the proof payment to the resource, get back at 200 requests, and it will return at $200 for HTTP request, whatever that code is, to the agent, without even the agent knowing that he actually paid for something. It was all centralized here and managed here. Yeah, and that's the main idea of the platform. And I think I will start taking questions. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, that's the main idea. So it offers a centralized configuration platform to manage all these things. Meanwhile, I would like to take questions if anyone has.
Yes, so thank you very much. That's for me. And do you have any questions? Do we have any questions online?
Yeah, one question I have regarding the security and how this layer is going to handle the key materials, because it is providing the signatures and handling everything, so that the agents becomes completely opaque toward what is going on and just receives the results. So how does it, for example, we know that Brave browser handles the keys and everything and has the same feature. How is this different, and how it's handling the key materials and signatures and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so this is this is a self-hosted proxy. So like assume, for example, you're running these agents on your server. This is a self-hosted proxy. It can be hosted on like localhost and only locked for localhost. And these agents can connect to this. You can even connect your entire host to the proxy configuration. And in this case, for example, you won't even need to for example, in this, like just a small piece of code. Here, for example, this is a Python script. You're just importing requests and you're just sending a request for this resource. Setting a proxies, or even without setting proxies, if the proxy is set system wide. And the idea here is that you're not using a custom fork of request or like any modified one. And for the security perspective, it's that this is a self-hosted proxy that you manage, and you can get access to whoever you want. It can be also just like an HTTP proxy. It can be configured with SL or even a simple username password authentication.
So you set the key, for example, your mnemonics or your private keys or anything like that as environment variables within that proxy when it starts up, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. You set all these key values for the proxy itself, not for the agents. So the idea here that you won't even need to set any of the agents. You will just like, unlike the plugin that we saw today, for example, you won't even need to set that. You will set only the proxy once, and all these agents can basically pay using this proxy.
Okay, so there will be, what about the multi wallets? You know, because there can be multi-users, and each users can have its own payments, and you need to know which user paid for what. Have you considered that in your idea? How can we differentiate who is paying for what?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, this is a slide that I accidentally closed, but the idea here that you have a single dashboard where you can actually set certain rules. For example, Agent X can only spend the 20 USDC
Let's not go too deep into the implementation
of course,
details.
the Agent X can be identified by a key. We can set in a header, or even by the user agent if security is a low thing, if you have full control over the environment. And you can also set rules like, oh, you're only allowed to like host X or agent Y. By agent Y, I mean by its MAC address or IP address. Like if by the host, I mean, if you have like a cluster of hosts that have agents hosted, you can have MAC address or IP address based access rules there. And you can have visibility by, okay, so for example, agent X paid 50 USDC. Of course, you can add to these rules something like agent X is only allowed to use wallet Y. So you can have mapping where if you have like 10 wallets connected to your proxy, configured with your proxy, you can basically assign certain agents to certain proxies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry for taking time.
Next one, we have Leandrino. Leandrino, Sandra, and Peter.
I think they had a conflict.
Okay. We'll go next one. Maybe first we'll have human. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's like in case confirm to endpoint, the agents never see that because the proxy takes care of everything.
In this case.
Yeah. I use something like this for some of my crawlers. They will never see that there was a capture, or that there were other problems, that there was a cookie banner, or like an blocker checker or something like this. So the crawler itself can stay as dumb as possible and doesn't have to take care of the edge cases.
Yeah.
Plus you can add like permissions, limits and stuff on this one. And you could provide this as an online service so far.
Yeah.
This is the best so far.
Yeah. So hi, so everyone is building for humans. We build for humans and agents. So we negotiate with AI agents. How we do it? First of all, how the adaptation is like, I don't know how much of you know, but now the websites look like this. So I'm a human or I'm an agent. Then you go and you do this. So what are we building is a negotiation layer. But why? is because everything is so new and everything is so sorted, like the price is already fixed and everything. Then we already have payment services and like a lot of things, but no one is talking about what the deals are like, because they need good deals and you also need a less API usage. So the problem so far is agent starts buying API keys, computes, data, and services. They already are buying, because my CloudBot just buy API credits from Cloud Router and everything. I have its own wallet and everything. So the problem is the negotiations are not fixed. But what we have today is no dynamic pricing, no supplier competition, but it will soon arise, because there are a lot of giants in the market right now who are pivoting to agentic AI, and there is no autonomous current. So it's still adapting through it, how we have a lot of autonomous agent frameworks running around. And so yeah, human negotiate contracts and agent currently cannot. So we do it now. So how we do it? Agent X, it's a protocol we'll be building. It's like API endpoints we'll have. So what it can offer has like a request, then it will have a counter offer, agreement on the terms, and it will have a escrow which will log the payment. With everything will be for x402 agent to agent payment. So this is, I couldn't have much time to build this, but those are the endpoints. So we'll send a request by propose, then counter, revise, withdraw, and accept. And this is like the flow looks like. The agent will have a negotiation message. Negotiation router will route through the prices through the supplier. And this is the main part, which will have like a message batching layer where we'll have all the providers listed. And there we have a deal finalization, which is the best deal we'll have. So we'll accept that deal or we'll revise that deal again. And then we have an escrow contract for getting the product which you requested. And then we batch settlement and the reputation update. And this is how it looks like, off-chain activity and the on-chain activity. I don't want to go. Ooh. Okay, this is already done. Why it matters? Just Stripe and eBay bidding, but for AI agents in short. And yeah, this is the vision. We are building a market and not like just API key. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good timing. So do you have any questions to Agent 6?
Yeah, that's just the name I came up with in 1 hour ago.
So any questions online or offline?
Yeah. Off-chain, on-chain.
I actually have a question. So would you say that this is like a marketplace for agents, or how can I make the other agents or endpoints discoverable by the other participants?
So right now I don't want to go into marketplace because I'm planning to build this. So first, right now I'll just have I'll have a normal website with the skills.md and skills listed to the skills everywhere marketplace, which will be npm package. I'll release it and others can use it. So other AI agents can directly just download the npm package release. And right now I just want to focus on API endpoints at the first place and trial out things. And then maybe I'll negotiate with the providers and everything, and then have a marketplace for everything, because that's the end goal. The market is what we are looking after, but that's the end goal. So yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I had a question about the negotiation pace itself.
Yeah.
So if everyone tells their agents, negotiate the cheapest price.
Yeah.
All agents are trying to look for the cheapest price.
Yes.
And then where's the competitive advantage of using a negotiation layer? Because then the price discovery is the cheapest price the supplier can sell for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Okay. The question is like how,
what's the end game of this?
Okay. So the end game is imagine if there is only NVIDIA selling the GPUs, they handle the pricing. But if there is an AMD, so they have to match each other up. So if we are batching the prices, the lowest will have the benefit, but the highest will also need to like lower the price, or will have some offers or something, or like monthly you buy this much, so something like that. We haven't made clear what batching price will look like, but we can have it like 1 month credits or like pay-per-use credits. Depends on the provider. It validates.
I also think that negotiation works in the real world because the pricing is so opaque. No one knows from one another. But here, the agents do know.
Yeah, that's why I provide like 4 endpoints. So they have maximum pay and the minimum, and they will do everything between this range.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because
Thanks.
my agent buys the API kits via Cloud Router, and I have to tell him like, you only have $4 budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like a issue.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agent
Okay.
X.
Agentic. Yeah. Thank you.
So next we have Cruise to Faith by Kevin.
Let me find the tab.
While he's doing the setup, I want to remind you guys that you need to submit your build via DoraHack in order to qualify. And so far, I see the amazing number of 0 submissions as of now. So if any of you can make any submissions, please, thank you.
Yeah, so very good point by Victor. So please do submit on DoraHacks, because for us to judge, apart from the pitch, you also have to submit. So we somehow do not see those DoraHacks. Is there anyone who didn't submit? Submitted. So I think the title of these will submit. It says under review. So it says under review. So we may need to take a look there. Yeah, secret though. Okay, good. I think I need to approve the approve. We have, but you do have 11 builds, 11 submissions for 15 pitches. So I think there's still some people who may need to
Submit on DoraHacks.
Okay, whenever you're ready, we'll put the timer for you.
All right, let's start. So, yeah, I was trying to think from what is the problem first that I want to solve, instead of, okay, 402 is cool technology, but what's the real problem? The real problem is that even right now, the data that agents were using for training and for kind of figuring out the world is kind of frozen. So they use the historical data. Now they don't have a source of new data. Maybe now there's 1 billion agents that are being used. Maybe they're generating or using millions of dollars. McKinsey calls it orchestrating, and that makes it a huge $1 trillion number. In a few years, there are going to be billions or trillions of agents and orchestrating trillions of dollars, but they don't have new source of human-derived data. So how can we solve this problem of agents need new information from humans? Agents can pay with x402 to humans to chat with them. Basically, instead of paying for ads, a company or agents on behalf of companies can pay humans to talk to them. Basically, talk to me, I'll pay you $1. What do you think about this? Would you buy this? You do market research or try to persuade them of something. Humans would register, verify their humanity, and give opt-in targeting, like tell the agents basically who are they? Why should the agent pay more for you versus somebody else? Why are you relevant to what the agent's goal is? So this is a two-sided marketplace of agents and humans. It would be centralized, but you could, as a human, register and then maybe talk to it through ChatGPT or something on your computer. You don't have to go to a website for it. So x402 is often talked about in terms of cents, but companies are already paying for this sort of outcome in terms of dollars, even hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars for kind of how much would a legal firm pay to acquire a new client, something like this. So agents, for example, on behalf of legal firms or any company, can talk to people that would be in their target market or get their opinions of anything. So you could think of other use cases of this besides customer acquisition. Could be things like market research, or maybe something with governments of like pollsters that need information from certain demographics, or people, like anything that you would pay for advertising for. How can you reach them directly through chat? So AI native, agent native, chatting way to do this. I have no idea how much money this could make. I put some numbers through and it just looks stupid. So I have no idea, but seems pretty cool. And it needs x402 to make it work because this is decentralized payments on a centralized marketplace. That's it.
Thank you very much. So any questions to 402 Ex Machina?
It's a work in progress.
I'm still not fully clear of like how x402 is in there, like how outline like a request response flow in your scenario.
So agent wants to start a conversation with somebody that buys computers. So from this targeting, you have this pool of humans that could be a good fit for your question. The agent would offer up some sum of money for this, and then humans can accept this payment for the conversation. The conversation could be charged in terms of number of tokens, number of messages, maybe dynamically based on supply and demand, or how specifically targeted that human is. So the agent wants a conversation and pays the human with x402. So the agent directly pays that human, and this marketplace gets a percentage fee as well.
Okay, conceptually, this is clear. I'm still not clear, like, because it's mostly baked into like an HTTP request response flow, right? So how does the agent connect the human through HTTP?
It's centralized. So the agent needs to send the request to us, and then we will connect
okay,
them.
you provide the platform for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
we provide the platform.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Question. How would you guarantee that the answers that people give to the AI and giving them for training are actually truthful or like?
You can.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe you will have to ask multiple people, or maybe you can keep going back to the same people that you have liked their answers before, and maybe there has to be some sort of rating or authenticity system, some way to validate how useful different humans are, I guess.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I go 402 Ex Machina, and next we have web page. Pedro Castro and one of the banks.
Okay. Yeah, we're like Pedro Castro and myself, and pretty much we are trying like to solve like a problem that we both face. Like we both come from Latin America, and like doing like cross-national payments has like different like frictions that we would like to correct like through 402. The problems that like we see right now is like the cost barrier. Like on average, like sending like money outside, for example, of Europe, like cost like around like 5% like on fees, which means like you're sending money and you're getting less. Besides that, like we both like are seeing some time like into crypto, but there's also like this complexity gap, which means every time that I want to send like a transaction to my brother, I'm pooping my pants and I'm like checking double or triple times like the address. Maybe first I'm sending like a little payment before proceeding like to the biggest payment. And in regards to like the traditional like TradFi like wires, like there's like the velocity style. If you use like Western Union or like Swift bank transfers, even Wise, like sometimes it can take up like 2-3 days in order like to get your money. There's not much like traceability, like it's kind of a black box, like where's your money? I don't know, at some point it will arrive. This is also like a cash flow problem like for some companies. So like what we are proposing is like enabling like a request payment like through link, and in this way like people would be able like to to generate a link. This link they would send like to via WhatsApp, via Slack, mail, like to their customers or to the person that they are requesting like a payment from. And this person like would receive this link, they would open it, and they would have the possibility to choose if they want to pay like with Apple Pay, like with their own like self-custody funds, etc., depending on the jurisdiction. So yeah, here we outline pretty much like a little example of a freelancer that in 5 seconds would generate a link. It would send it like to a customer in New York, and this customer would be able like to pay in USDC or use PayPal like to pay them. Okay, we believe like there's like a big addressable market here. I believe like I will not cover this in detail, but I would like to jump like a little bit like on the problems and like the comparison on like the traditional methods or what it's available today and why would be our product like have like this like a business feasibility. So for instance, like in traditional finance, like it takes days like to set up like your your customer like procedure, like to get like your wire or bank account. In crypto, it's easier, but still like a lot of people are afraid of doing it. In regards, for us, it would be single sign-on with social media. With user input, like if you use traditional banking, like you would need like to input like IBAN, like SWIFT details in order to make the transfer go through. In crypto is what I mentioned earlier. You would need to put like the address or like maybe like your Ethereum name server. Here it would be link-based. And okay, settlement fees, like usually we'll charge like a 1%. Like you can see what's for traditional finance, up to 7%. And in crypto, it's usually like variable. So time is over. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, if I may ask, we have already ways for example, on Algorand, we can create QR codes in order to ask for a payment in certain assets. And the freelancer and the project owner can actually use them. I can create that QR code, send it for you, and you scan it with your wallet and pay me on the fly with crypto. What is the difference and what added value your protocol or platform adds to that?
Thank you for the question. And actually, our added value would be like the user experience, because nowadays I could also pass like a QR code like to my customer like in New York. And if this person is not crypto native, they would say like, no, dude, for sure I would not pay you. However, if I pass him like a link, like something like Venmo works in the States, is like something that like the users already know. You could simply, based on like the geolocation of the user, like offer different payment methods. You would need, of course, like an on-ramp system as well here in case they decide like to pay, I don't know, via Apple Pay. However, like we are eliminating this friction that right now is a big crypto problem, that is like the UX.
So when you say on-ramping, so you cannot directly use X402 because X402 somehow assumes that you already have a means to pay with crypto, either you or your agents. How can you overcome that?
That would be like a layer that we would need to develop before like the X402.
Your
like
platform provides that.
Yes, our platform would provide like this on-ramp so that like, you know, like it will abstract all of these like a wallet and addresses and wallet addresses in order to be able to achieve like the payment through this protocol.
Thank
you. No, just like I have one remark. We have this crazy EU regulation thing that the name on the IBAN needs to exactly match. Like, I don't know if someone wired lately, and when there's like a slight deviation, they ask you, are you really sure? Because it's not an exact match. Yeah, that's also crazy because you can just like check for people's bank accounts. Thank you. I like the idea of using X402 like as an harmonization layer between like different payments.
I have a question though. How are you reducing the time of settlement to 10 seconds?
how I'm reducing like to 10 seconds. I mean, like this is what also was pitched like by Algorand that can achieve like payments in microseconds.
Yeah, payments
So-
in microseconds, but
so-
not cross-border payments.
I mean, like I think like in general, when you use like this protocol, they don't care about like being cross-border or not. Like I'm solving like the problem like for the people, or we are solving the problem for the people that like want to do cross payments, but the protocol itself, it doesn't care. Of course, there are like regulatory like questions to be like tackled on the way, but like this is idea we had like 1 hour ago.
Okay, got it. No, it's good. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Next, we have intermediate 4. Yes, and we have actually a team which is, I think you'll be here, and you have a member who is online.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
So,
Next here.
present the video.
Yes, a picture, a video, or? Sure, okay. Would you like a microphone? Because
Yes, of course. I hope we can hear it.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So, okay. Thanks for the event.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, maybe you would like to turn it on, so is it connected?
I don't know.
Okay, mirroring.
Yeah, I connected, but I have not opened the menu.
So we would need to share the screen somehow.
Why it's not actually
Maybe you can try with HDMI, maybe HDMI would be a bit better. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, really. So, new.
Yeah, I think it's now working. Let's see if it's on full screen.
This one. Or no. This one.
Just a second, I think it needs usually a second or something. No, I think probably this one, 1, 2. Just wait for a second. Just a second. Okay.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. Check it if everything's fine. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I hope the sound is going. Then we can start when the sound is.
Yeah, if the
fine.
sound, you can maybe also put it kind of closer to it if you. I'm not sure if the sound will be behind.
Oh. Okay, cool. So, yeah, so that is.
Okay, we'll have just 3 minutes. That's what we'll
Yeah,
do.
I will skip some parts of the video because it's too long.
Yeah.
And I just found the key parts.
Sure, great. Whenever you're ready, come.
Yeah, I'm ready. So we can just start and play the video.
All right, welcome DAO leaders. If you're building a decentralized community, then you already know that trust is pretty much your most valuable asset. But what happens when that trust is threatened by, legal risks and some shaky economics? Today, we're going to break down a framework to make your DAO not just safer, but way more sustainable. Let's dive
For the
in.
remote participants.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll uncover a kind of hidden dilemma that's fragmenting your community's talent. Then we'll get into the infrastructure of trust that's designed to solve it. From there, we'll check out your legal shield for data compliance, the new economic engine that's powered by Algorand, and finally, what the next big step for your DAO looks like. Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. Here really highlights the gap. We were all promised this amazing world of sovereign identity and a reputation you can take with you anywhere. But for so many people, it's what some are starting to call the dark age of digital coordination. So how do we fix this? How do we bridge this gap between the promise and the reality? Well, we need a whole new kind of foundation, an infrastructure that's actually built on verifiable trust. And this is where the Andromeda Atlas protocol comes into the picture. Now, this is a really fundamental shift in thinking. Atlas isn't just another database. Think of it more like a verifiable existence protocol. Its job isn't to store the raw data itself, but to safeguard what are called artifacts of truth. It's kind of like a digital notary. stamping a permanent, incorruptible record of every single valuable contribution right onto the chain. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the mission, doesn't it? The goal isn't just to track tasks. It's about building a consensus on human value. It's about making that social capital your contributors build as tangible, as verifiable, and as permanent as a block on a blockchain. This is the key to enabling a true, portable, cross-DAO reputation. So, with that foundation of trust in place, let's talk about the first really critical tool this unlocks for your DAO. Create a sustainable treasury. Andromeda builds its economic engine on Algorand. And this chart really shows you why. I mean, to have a thriving economy, you need to be able to reward contributions instantly and cheaply. Algorand delivers transaction finality in under 5 seconds, for a fraction of a cent. This makes stuff like micropayments for completing bounties, or just for participating in votes, not just possible, but actually practical at a massive scale. And what's cool is this integration creates this powerful win-win. Your DAO gets the ability to fund its treasury, automatically reward contributors, and even implement real economic penalties for bad actors. And at the same time, solving for legal consent and economic sustainability, you are fundamentally up to build on verifiable trust.
Okay. Then I'm almost done, huh?
Yes, so thank you. Do we have any questions or any comments?
I have the evergreen question.
Yeah.
And since you skipped over so many things, can you give me a 1-sentence description?
1-sentence description.
Yes. What?
Yes, that's what I also ask. Not really.
Well, let's go with this there. A verifiable existence protocol. Its purpose is not to store data, but to safeguard artifacts of truth. Okay.
Yeah, I made just some screenshots that it's the key arguments. And yeah.
Okay, then the evergreen question. Where do you see x402 fit into that?
Where?
Where? Like naturally, a trust system for a DAO is not self-explanatory where x402 fits in that.
I also don't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot. So,
Yeah.
okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyway.
And we met actually with the other person, Caroline, so I guess there was communication issues. So next one we have, thank you very much. Next we have multipass. Multipass, Paul Thomas. And this should be another part of it.
You already get extra points for the fifth element reference.
It was like, I'm sure the multipass already exists, so mine is actually multi-spaß.
Ah.
Sorry, you're completely right. Multipass.
Multipass.
Yeah.
Extra points revoked.
From me. It takes usually a second or two.
So in that case, I'll just.
No, take your time. Take your time to just connection so that everyone.
Obviously, create very quickly. It's calling me, of course.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Tell me and don't rush. We have a microphone. You will.
Basically, I am Paul. I am an artist. I started building in Web3 during COVID. Algorand is not my first chain. I don't actually know much about Algorand, but I've been on a bunch of different chains. On my way here, I was thinking, what the heck am I going to whip up idea-wise for this Ideathon? And I fortunately had this issue a few times recently where, I don't know about you, but I've got dozens of these, and they're all like, they've got like 2 stamps. Some have 3 stamps. I forget them all the time. I can't possibly keep them on my person. I'm like, if there's anything that I would like to do with, hello, moving, no. If there's anything I would like to do that is simple and easy and could possibly be integrated into the X402, there's my messy desktop. Sorry, guys. Solutions is come up with some. I just sketched this out, by the way. This is not technical material, but basically a way at some point you can not only have this thing on your phone, but you can also sort of level up with something involving X402 in a way that you can even gamify yourself. You can maybe set your own goals, or you can agree to goals that are set by a local business or whoever's interacting with this thing, and ultimately proceed to payment and then come back around and reward yourself with whatever business you're interacting to. This is my very short, very quick version of an idea that I would like to eventually develop into a real thing.
Can you do one step to the side?
Yeah, yes, yeah. And this is just a sketch that I did while I was chatting, because I actually spent most of my time talking to people, lovely people to talk to. I would like to know more about how this could possibly work with business or product or whatever. But yeah, I'm not there yet, because this is kind of how I work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We have time together for questions. Online or offline?
Online or offline?
Good questions.
Great. Easy peasy.
Do we have any questions online? Okay. I guess we don't have any questions. So if we don't have any questions, then thank you very much for
No questions. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is me anyway. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I wish everyone luck.
Thank you very much. Multispaß. Next, we have fixes. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. Eduardo.
Can you check, Misha? Can you check Telegram? Like
Yes,
our
check.
organizer one?
Yes. Here, and you would.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking like, you have some pizza after this. After this speaker,
Yeah.
you can now start if you have time. If you don't,
Yeah.
because it's quite short.
Yeah.
If you want, you can also announce it later.
Well, no, like because MG sounds like he needs more time because he has another meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Then he wants to look at the submissions and then he wants to score.
That was very sure. I was kind of saying that.
So put a bit of pressure on him. Like we have our scores, we can just leave after that. I would prefer a discussion, honestly. But I can take this actually from the train. So like, give him a deadline.
Actually, give him a deadline.
Yeah.
We can start, I guess.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, tell me.
All right. So my name is Eduardo. I'll try to make this very quick. I know we are a bit tired today. So I wanted to present you physics. So if you go in the industry today, there are a bunch of machines. Those machines have a bunch of sensors. So telemetry is not a problem nowadays. But what you do with this information is not actually very common throughout the industry. So all those like machinery, any electrical, mechatronical device have those sensors. Those sensors have bring a lot of data, and this data can be used with an LLM to identify problems. So the industry is already kind of doing that. The thing is, how do you act upon discovering that there is a problem? When there's an action needed, you need a human to do the action. So you find the problem, then you escalate this, then you figure out what is the part that you need to change. You find the technician and you bring it, and this all costs a lot of money and a lot of time.
So this is the human bottleneck. We can detect a lot of defects, but to solve them, we still rely on humans. The idea here is to make the machine repair itself, to know when it's when there is a problem in advance, to find the new part that it has to buy, to find the technician that it needs to hire, and to make sure that this part is changed in a way that there is no downtime in the process of the industry. So here I introduce you Fitix. It uses the standard of the industry, OPC UA. It's a standard that all the machineries use, Industry 4.0. It has its own autonomous procurement, so it understands all the telemetry and can define what part should be changed and when it should be changed. It can schedule itself when the new technician, the technician needs to put the new part, and it verifies itself that the change was done correctly. And we need OPC UA to make sure that this can go throughout the whole industry. We need X402 to make sure that we can do the payment via the own LLM, and we can use the smart contract to make sure that not only the payment is done, but the service is well provided. It's provided and you can pay for it. All right, and building on the future, we know that the machines will be able to do this, LLM will be able to do this. What we want is for them to be able to control their own budget. So the whole operation will be self-sustained. Let me finish here. There's a big market, but we can finish this on the QA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? For to
Fixes.
Fixes. No. Do we have any?
Sorry.
Yes, let's do that.
The matrix scenario, where they do what?
Machines build machines and support machines and make their own money and then they use.
Well, because you control exactly what you want for them, right? You have the telemetry, you have the telemetry. You make sure that they are focused on repairing themselves and not having any downtime in the production line. The point that I was trying to avoid here is that if you give them an infinite budget, it will always try to have the best parts all the time. So the constraint is having a specific budget that they have to manage throughout a year, for example, and they need to know what is the part that needs to be addressed or changed without using that whole budget or more than the budget. That will be only focused on repairing itself, not deciding if they stop doing their work and doing something else, like in a matrix event. Not sure if I answered. You? No?
Hey, thank you. Judges, do we have any questions?
No, for me. Nope.
Thank you.
We don't. Well, thank you very much, brother. Next, we have coming up last year.
Maybe one slide. Market exchange. Yeah.
Figure out what the judging after a message. That's two more questions, and then we figure out about the judging. Yeah. You have your call. All right. Okay, whenever you're ready, do you have a microphone?
It's here.
Great. If you would like to press the little thingy.
That will make it easier.
Yeah. So.
That's the opposite side. I guess that works now.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Martin.
I'm uncertified human, and in my spare time, I build AI agents sometimes. Recently, I was building a coding agent that's multimodal and platform independent, and that required me to create like 5 different subscriptions, get 10 different API keys, wire in logic for rate limits and all these kind of things. And while I have fun doing that, it's also kind of annoying. So AI agents are amazing. They can reason, they can act, they can code, but they have one fatal flaw. Well, they're broke. And also they have no hands and off-by-one hallucinations. And while your OpenClaw, for example, can manage your calendar, can delete all your emails, can do all this fun stuff, when you require a bit more complicated task for it, it can break down a bit too soon. So to solve that problem, why not create a gig economy for AI agents? Something that can break down this complex task, that can make your agent easily multimodal by simply using x402 on a marketplace, directly requiring another specialized expert model or a specialized agent that can do specific tasks for it. As we know, generalized agents are not really good at specific expert tasks, but if they can break it down and distribute those tasks among multiple different models, that can be improved, result in improved output. So the problem is that agents, of course, cannot easily subscribe to all these different platforms or train different expert models, but humans, well, we can, and we can provide it to them on a simple platform. So essentially, the solution that is provided is zero-key routing. So there's no need for API keys that you need to give to your agent. There's no need for different subscriptions. There's no need for coding multimodality into the agent if it can have it natively using the x402 protocol. On the other hand, specialized agents can be provided and put by users and in a way earn money for good product, let's say. This can all be possible only by the recent developments of the x402 protocol and Algorand's fast finalization. So essentially, the task can go in 4 simple steps. Give a complex task, distribute it, and each intent can find an expert agent built just for that. It will receive a 402 payment required, do the payment, settle it within 3 seconds, and once it's done, the result is returned. Or a job task, in case it's a longer, like creating videos or analyzing videos, which can be more time-consuming and asynchronous. So in essence, 2-sided marketplace, demand, supply, for no humans required. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for us?
I have a question. There are so many agent marketplaces. So how do you see, what do you think is the end game of this?
Which of them uses x402 and instant resolution?
I think most of them will need to use x402 because they had to pay each other, right? Right now, not so much, but they will eventually will have to start using x402.
Well, the idea is by the time they do it, we're already doing it.
Yeah. So the goal is to just be the leader of the market.
Exactly.
Okay.
Rush.
Online, do we have any questions for Victor or MJ? Okay, I don't think so. So then, thank you very much for And we have last but not least, we have SecureReg. Denis. No, last but not least. And after that, please don't go away. We still figure out the judging. Maybe we'll have it today. Maybe we'll have it later. But we'll have pizza now. So, and a bit of time to just network.
Well, we have to do with the recording criteria.
Actually, just put up all the
Okay, but no, we have a last. Thanks. Okay. Sorry? No, don't forget to submit on door.
Okay.
And maybe you can. Do you have any the pencil online?
This one?
Have you equipped yourself? So we'll have to.
So while you're doing the setup, we had 14 teams presenting, 11 submissions. So there is still a gap. I don't want to be annoying, but just as a reminder.
Yes, Victor, thank you very much for reminding. We actually will have one more presentation after this. But yes, please, we would like to have see all the pitches on door hacks. So for you to be able to qualify. Yeah, sure.
Ja mogę cię przylewać.
No, dawaj.
That's exactly that. And I think the interesting implementation of it's it sends the x402 request back with the suggestion of the requirements, and then you get the response in very
figure out
and you send the payment. It says okay, take the payment, but first you tell you if you want to tip and talk. And then you have to add the tipping transaction with x402.
Yeah, it's just a tipping transaction.
Yes, it's like because they try to stay out the way of the payment stuff to avoid regulation.
But Dominic breaks.
And you're not in this payment?
I'm not doing that.
What? It's your Turk story.
Rambo.
Oh.
One.
What do I have to do? Wait, can I use it?
Yeah, let's thank you.
Да, нормально. Я не торопаюсь.
Okay, because I was in the impression that there has to be an agent making a decision, a subjective decision for explorators, but maybe it's this one option. So I was under the impression that for x402, there has to be an agent making a subjective decision when or where to pay. If it's already pre-decided how much to pay, it's just an automated crypto payment. But if the agent is subjective to decide how much to who, that's when it's more of an explorer. No?
No.
Okay. That's what I thought. Sorry.
No. You can also just use x402. That's no requirement at all.
But it's the agent.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, Dennis, and we can start.
Yep, I'm ready. So a little bit of history to carry off. Very recent history from the September of 25. The North Korean hackers publish some, let's say, 150 packages that are similar to existing ones to the NPM register. And within some months, these packages are being downloaded for 80 million times. Starting in the mid-February this year, the Lazarus group from North Korea also started massive attacks in using LinkedIn, targeting people who are searching for a job and sending their repositories, which are poisoned by various kinds of cyber attacks. And primarily that would be Bitbucket, through Bitbucket and NPM and GSNTS. So with that, we are currently in the middle of the theory of that internet powered by AI. And in this crisis of open source maintainers and supporters, and the fact that the current current registries, as in like NPM registry for GS, is not really security reviewed. So the thing is, I came up with the idea to come up with better and improved security layer for package registries, and which would address all of these problems altogether. Basically, it kind of wraps the existing NPM, let's say. It can be a standalone registry, but my target is not to invent the second 15th standard. And yeah, so the thing is, it will allow people, it will crowdfund software audit on the packages. So basically, everyone, including, of course, agents, will go to this registry and download the version which is audited by a person and pay for the bounties for the upcoming audits. And here you can check out the flags which I propose to flag the newer status of the packages in this registries. So that would be unreviewed, scanned, community reviewed as if it was scanned by one human, peer reviewed, more than one human, and signed by peers, and including the known CVEs and malicious software. The crowdfund would go into actually humans reviewing the code and maintainers who are fixing the bugs after the review. I'm not going into technicalities. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it uses USDC via Algorand in this case, and the possibilities are quite broad. So we can include more languages, we can include more software stuff, and we can meaning in integrations like GitHub, Dependabot, CodeQL, and all of that. I'm done.
Thank you very much. We don't have any questions.
I like the idea, and I see for many people who are not storing their build artifacts and over request the packages, it can become very expensive.
It can be poisoned anyway.
No, I mean, it's expensive when, like, on every pipeline run, they pull the packages, but there are ways to mitigate that.
Yeah, but that's from one perspective, it is a way to support the open source and reviews, which are currently being abandoned. So one of the problems is that with the current open source maintainers is that they're abandoning their projects because people are no longer visiting their GitHub pages. And as long as they don't, and instead agents in millions downloading their packages and their artifacts, that means that no one sees their request for funding, no one sees their pattern and stuff like that. So this is one of the ideas of this is to address and substitute this behavior. This is for the love of open source.
So that's a very useful idea.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Dennis. We have a lot of analysis, but there is still token.
Thank you. Oops.
Microphone?
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, hello. Test.
So whenever you're ready,
Mm-hmm.
take your time.
Okay. Full screen, full screen. Where is it? Wasn't it just the full screen mode? Okay, maybe I just keep it like this. Okay, yeah. So my name is Philip, and I came here without an idea. And so basically, I just invented it on the fly when we arrived. I call this idea x402 derivative tokens. And the idea is basically, instead of paying now to receive the resources immediately, you receive a token that guarantees access to the resource later when you redeem the token. That's why it's called x402 derivative tokens. And so providers of API, inference, or tools, resources, whatever, they could pre-sell capacity before it's maybe needed and finance the creation of a resource even, maybe sell access to a resource that doesn't yet exist. And then those derivatives could go into markets and signal also a more accurate pricing or demand maybe. And consumers, they could reserve throughput or guarantee priority access, and for that have better planning and budgeting. And yeah, so then there's also the possibility for other platforms and routers and marketplaces to come along. They could provide the liquidity and yeah, take on the risk for a premium, let's say, or package resource together and create maybe simpler offerings. Yeah. How to make money off of that? I don't know yet, and how to implement it. Yeah, I mean, that was also too short time, right, to think all of this stuff through. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you like the idea. You can connect with me on Telegram. That's it. Any questions?
Do you have any questions? No.
There was the most crypto approach to stuff by providing tokens.
Yeah.